Welcome to She Says with your host, Stephanie Regalado. She Says guests share stories from their challenges to successes and, most importantly, the journey of womanhood woven alongside the collaboration of sisterhood. From self, love, friends and family, to hot topics, career, and world views, Stephanie and her guests discuss matters with utmost openness and honesty. So let's hear what she says. Here's Stephanie.
Yes. Welcome to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado. Super jazzed to have my best friend in the whole wide world, Jennifer Evans of Encore Events, joining me today. Hi, friend.
Hi.
Thank you for stepping in at the 11th hour. My other guest had to make a quick transition out, and you made a quick transition in. So.
Absolutely. Anything to take a nice little fun lunch break.
Right, exactly, and avoid work.
Yes.
So.
Okay, yeah, that's the truth.
So we decided that we would just chat about some things. Current events. Speaking of current events, holy cow! So Cosby was found. Not Crosby. Cosby.
Cosby. Yeah,
Boy,
I just saw that.
Was convicted. I don't even understand what happened with the mistrial, but this was the renewed
I don't
trial.
know, but yeah.
Lord, and it's so interesting because there's still a lot of people standing up for him and saying that the women did it for sensationalism or whatever. And I don't know. I had one incident one time where I had gotten sick at a local establishment and shared that on Facebook. And even that little blip and the backlash I had received from saying that I had gotten sick while there, not saying they had done anything. But it's just, no one, that kind of attention isn't fun.
No. No.
So I doubt anyone's doing it for sensational purposes.
I hope that puts some peace and let some people put that
I
behind
hope so
them.
too. Holy cow. Oof.
Yeah.
We're going to kick right off. We had some friends submit some questions to us, and also I had some curiosities as well. It's my middle name. I know. The curious shall have adventures. That's my Facebook wall thingy. Let's talk about, I don't know why rumors has come to mind, but sometimes working in an office, you don't necessarily have this problem, but I work in a team, and sometimes people come, they'll talk to one another about someone else, and that doesn't provide an excellent space for the whole of the organization. And then I just thought about people that we know and things that we do because we're pretty active in the community. How do you handle rumors, and what do you do once you have one? I mean, the rule is you have to share with me.
Always.
But it dies with me. Because I have to share with you, but you've already shared it with me, so I don't have to tell anyone else. No, but seriously.
Yeah, I think everybody has that instinct for some juicy gossip. You want something to spread, but I don't know. I guess when I went through my whole drama, divorce, pregnancy thing, you learn pretty quick you don't want to be the focus of that and bad information, so it's not as fun anymore. Okay, it's not fun at all. And usually I want to get to the bottom of it and give people the benefit of the doubt and figure it out. It's not as fun as it used to be. And in fact, we were when I had my 3 days in Sandpoint, staying at the castle, hashtag not in a castle anymore. I'm adjusting back to normal life. But while we were there, it was big groups and it was fun and it was friends. And there were a couple moments when people wanted to bring up some situations. And I was really proud of my friend Scott, who just went, I don't want to have this discussion. Let's not talk about these kinds of things while we're here. Wow. And it was a really good thing. It wasn't shaming, but it just put an end to us talking about other people. And I like that better. Yeah. I got enough stuff to worry about and deal with.
Totally. And I always love it when someone reaches out to me and says, and it has actually been years. I don't know if it's because people don't want to share or they're not brave enough to share or what, but someone reached out to me about a year and a half ago when I had started dating someone, and she sent me a message and she said, there's a rumor that you're dating so-and-so. And I wrote back, I don't even know why that's a thing, but I wrote back, maybe it's just so shocking that I'd be dating at all. But I wrote back and said, it's not a rumor if it's true.
Yeah, that.
But I love the opportunity if anyone hears something funky or strange to come to me. And I want to honor that too as well with others.
You've always been good about that too. And just any situation, you're really good at, even if it's not about you, you'll go to one or both parties to check it out,
flush it out,
do your investigation, and then
flush it out.
Yeah,
I have to get rid of it.
Yep,
I can't hold on to things. To swear or not to swear. That kind of ties in with me with this whole notion of being ladylike. What do you think about women being ladylike? I don't know. Go for it. Do you have thoughts? I see them.
My kids would be proud because I want to drop a bunch of SpongeBob references.
Okay. Perfect.
Actually, the very first episode I ever saw of SpongeBob was graffiti on a dumpster, and it was a swear word, and they would dolphin it out when SpongeBob and Patrick would read it, and they called it sentence enhancers.
Oh, I like
and
it.
I can't help it. They are kind of sentence enhancers. You know, a well-timed F-bomb can really be enhancing. I know I shouldn't, and I'm pretty good about it. I don't really in the wrong crowd, but especially between us.
Yeah.
I can't help it. And
I've been
I like
trying to
be
reduce
funny.
it a little bit.
Yeah.
Have you noticed?
Yes, because you
laugh?
keep telling me you're not doing it.
I just had to delete the F word because I'm trying not to say it very much. So, I'm glad that I keep you informed in my struggle.
Yeah, I can't help it though. In the right in the right company, I don't. And it slips out when you get scared or something. But
Yes.
yeah, I don't know that that's something I'll 100% ever put behind me, but do know when it's appropriate and when it's not.
Someone reached out to me through 15 different other people to let me know that the person 15 or 14 or 16 people before had said during the Women in Business Leadership Awards that someone had said a bad word. One of the women, and they just couldn't believe it when she was doing her little accepting speech. They just couldn't believe it that would happen in that kind of setting, that professional setting. And I was like, it's about time we just banish all of what we think women should be at any particular time, because that's someone else's judgment about someone else. And really, I didn't think of it.
Can we go down that road?
Yeah.
Who has time to care this much about other people and their things? I'm worn out lately.
Right.
You know, there's so many, Maddie and I talked a little bit about it when she and I were on the show.
Yeah.
And, her going to college and what people were thinking and what it meant, and should she be dating her boyfriend and where should she be going, and I don't even have the time to worry about my kid's life that much.
To that degree,
I just can't even imagine the amount of energy, time it takes to be that concerned about other people, what they're doing, what they're saying.
Do you think that I've always wondered, it's not usually people that are perfect, which they don't exist, but it's not as though you're so together and you have everything that you have all this time then. It's usually that I feel like it's an avoidance of like an interpersonal reflection if you're constantly critiquing or having opinions about other people.
Yeah, I don't know. Am I not observant, or I don't have time for it?
Oh, we're observant, but we're also super busy.
Yeah,
so
I don't have time to formulate those opinions. And it's not that I don't care about people and things. I guess if something really struck me as off or wrong, I'd probably address it. But I just have other things to focus on, but besides other people's
It's hard enough
lives.
regulating yourself.
Right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Uh-oh. Is it time for a break?
No, we still have some time. So I feel so heartbroken every time I see a friend going through a divorce.
Ugh, yeah.
I know the heartbreak, but really what pains me most, I think, is a reflection back to, I've still had moments where I was torn about going through a divorce with Joe and the father of my kiddos. You know that. I've shared that plenty of times. And I really think that married couples should do everything in their power to make it work, unless it's a dangerous situation. I think that's a different degree. But I think it's just so easy for us to check out and to drop communication and to look at other shiny objects. But knowing what it's truly like on the other side of it, and the heartache of, we have a good friend who struggles with not having his access to his children all the time, and how I think in retrospect, and even before, he would have stuck it out.
Yeah.
What do you feel? Would you say? What do you think about all that? For one, you've been divorced twice. Do you have regrets at all about either one of those? If you could go back?
Start there.
We'll start there.
Yeah, if I knew then what I know now.
Yeah.
Which Yeah, I feel the same. I've heard those same words from him too. But if I knew then what I know now, I would have fixed that first one. It was so salvageable. It was so simple.
Yeah.
Life was so much simpler then,
Right.
but it was so complex, and I had zero skills and tools to deal with it. And I do think it could have been fixed. And I was given some really good advice from our pastor, first person I told that I was leaving and was pregnant. And he was like, go back, do the work. I should have listened. I
Yeah.
couldn't see it for myself then. But yeah, that first one, probably should have stuck that one out. But again, I just
Yeah.
didn't have the tools. And
Was there anyone
skills.
around you that could have stepped up to help encourage you? Or do you think that you were just, like you said, you didn't have the tools and it was that time of your life and there wasn't?
Yeah, I don't know. I
Any-
don't, you know, there were some people who gave me the stick it out talk, but nobody really offered, aside from Pastor Bobby, nobody really gave me anything concrete. And his was faith-based, and I was thinking it was so out there. Like,
Yeah.
no, this situation isn't fixable. But I don't know. We didn't really get any great advice during that time. Tons of support, both for and against.
Yeah.
But really nothing that helped mend.
Well,
that.
part of what I love about weddings is this whole notion that you bring your community together, and that's the community that's going to celebrate and honor you
Yeah.
and help you stick it out, in
Yeah.
essence. And I think that that's been lost. I mean, sometimes we don't know what the boundaries are encouraging someone.
Yeah.
And I remember being in that position, and I know people came to me, and I don't know that there was anything they could have done. And I'm not saying that could have worked out.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've rehashed that, thousands and thousands of times, and there are other breakdowns within that
Yeah.
connection that weren't sustainable long term. But now that my kiddos are getting older and there's a little bit more freedom that way,
Yeah.
it's really the family aspect that's the hardest, I think, to lose.
Very much so. That loss of
That's the-
identity.
yeah.
I was telling somebody recently, it's the little changes that you make in those situations. And I
Yeah.
realized that after that, it was the loss of being Jen and Craig.
Yeah.
So we were just Jen and Craig. And I stopped calling myself Jen for probably 7-8 years. To this day, people,
Yeah.
I can tell
Oh.
how and when people met me or
Oh,
our
right.
comfort level by the people who call me Jen. Because I just started, I identified as Jennifer.
I was going to say, what did you go to? Samantha?
But yeah, that was really, are we going Sex in the City now? That's a way more fun conversation.
Now you just said the SEX word. We're going to be banned from
Uh-oh.
Facebook.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, Karen.
They're already after me with the whole she says business.
But yeah, I forgot where I was going because
No.
that's par for the course lately.
So do you believe in soulmates? Do you think Craig was potentially a soulmate or having a love of your life?
I don't know. I think more the love of your life. And I was laughing. I snuck a peek at some of your questions there. I just watched that episode of Grace and Frankie, which aside from her, Grace and Frankie are my two new best friends. Love that
Okay.
show. And there was a moment when Saul was talking about Frankie's my soulmate. And
Yes.
that doesn't mean the love of your life, the person you're supposed to be married to, but that person you have a kindred connection with.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I believed in it when I was a, late teen, early 20-something, looking for the love of my life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Do you ever think you found in a man that soulmate type connection?
I think that I thought I had. I
Yeah.
certainly thought I had that with Xander's dad. And there was a great connection. I think there's somebody, that I've had, not that long ago, an amazing connection with. Look at your eyes. But I don't know. I don't know what those are and if it's temporary, if it's long term. And I certainly
Yeah.
try and make it mean something in the moment, though.
Right?
But when you get a little time and space, maybe you were wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
But again, it goes back to the same tools and skills that could have saved my marriage are the same tools and skills that I can apply to this situation and go,
Yeah.
you can create love just by doing what's best for somebody else, no matter what the cost. And so, yeah, I think you can create those scenarios without a soulmate. But
Right.
if you truly gave everything and
Yeah.
someone everything they needed,
Yeah.
you'd be tied for a long time.
Because it does, and I think the whole notion of soulmate twists people's minds a little bit because maybe
Yeah.
they think they have it, and then when the work gets really hard, which I think it gets really hard in every single
Yeah.
relationship, it has to become a choice. But people start fantasizing about, well, maybe I was wrong about this one, and then they meet
Yeah.
someone at a business conference, and they're like, this new rush comes in, and
business conference.
That's where all the dirty deeds go down.
But yeah.
Okay, we're gonna take a quick break.
Perfect.
We will be right back.
For the Inland Northwest's most comprehensive sports report, think outside the porch with Spokesman.com. For just 99 cents for the first month, you'll enjoy unlimited digital access to the news and sports news that affect you most. From EWU to WSU, from Northwest Preps all the way to the Seahawks, we're the local authority that makes sports in the Inland Northwest different than the rest, better than the rest. On your phone, on your desktop, and on your tablet. Subscribe to the digital experience with Spokesman.com.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Welcome back to She Says. I'm Stephanie Regalado with Jennifer Evans. We just got talking about the lighthearted topic of love and romance and soulmates and divorce.
We are so excited.
Do you have, what have you garnered? How long have you been single? 10 years? 8?
Yeah.
8, yeah.
That, I don't know. I don't want to do the math. Well,
If you're losing count, that's a
was
good
2,
sign.
so
Oh, no,
10
it's not a good
yeah,
sign.
10.
Wait.
I don't
It's not
know.
a good
10.
sign. We'll call it 10.
Yeah.
What have you learned about dating over 10 years?
Not much.
Help our sisters out who are just going through divorce and looking into the future, or in that space where they may be open to it.
I'm the worst. I don't like dating. I go
Yeah.
back to my friend Dina Abdallah, and I had so many conversations before she got married.
Yes.
And Dina would talk about how she would talk to her kids about dating, and she would ask them a lot of questions, leading them to the point of, what's the point of dating?
Oh, yeah.
To find a spouse. So,
Yeah.
you're a teenager. Why do you need to be dating? You're not looking for a spouse, are you?
Right.
And I kind of felt the same way. Although I guess I would like to have a spouse,
Yes,
but
yeah.
I don't want to do the dating to get there. I just
Yeah.
I don't like dating for the sake of dating. And I know that people feel the need to date and get back out there and find somebody. And
Yeah.
I don't like it. So I'm probably not the best person to ask that.
What's one valuable bit of information you have procured about dating? Just one. How do dating apps work for you?
Oh gosh, they last about
Shopping for
10
men.
days and then
Oh.
they get shut off.
Yeah.
And I go, why did I try again? Because I've
Yeah.
got the over 60 and the lives in a trailer park with the paneling behind them. Got that demographic nailed.
Yeah, well, you're pretty.
never go
Yeah,
out with them,
you
but-
jazz that place right up.
No, it's been an interesting thing. I guess the two things I've learned, be more open to other people, things, experiences,
Yes.
not having this one type of person that I'm looking for.
Right.
And then good old Jacqueline, who says, because I'll constantly say I never get asked out, people
Yeah.
aren't interested. And she'll go, people are interested in you all the time, and you push out that vibe instantly. Don't ask me out.
Right.
So, oops. So be open and recognize when those things are going on and how I'm contributing or not
Yeah,
contributing.
that is.
What about you? I don't
This
know. I
isn't
think
about me.
Yeah, it is now. I think about dating apps and all of our crazy little, very short adventures when we try them.
I was really excited to not end up ever in a tub of ice missing organs.
Oh gosh.
We won't go all the way into that story, but sometimes you just never know. As much background as you can search and as much fun as you can search. It's been fun for someone who loves to tell stories and loves
Yeah.
loves to have information for potential stories. Dating apps were fun for me for a little while.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could have made up that I would receive a call from the psych ward at Sacred Heart from someone I had dated, because he finally found my phone number again in the magazine, and he loved my editor letter and wanted me to come visit him in the psych ward. But I'm the kind of person that has the heart for others, where I called the nurse's station after I got off the phone after I heard him say, I'm on the phone with my wife, when can she come visit? And I was like, no, I can't be involved with you lying. No, it's fine. It's really fine. No.
Okay, I can't help it. The best part was when you called asking if you should go down, because
No,
it
yeah.
will always be a good story. It's never not a good story.
Yeah,
I was
so-
actually a little disappointed when you didn't go. Not lying.
I know, because you said you know you're going. We just know your
I had no
curiosity
doubt you were
can't,
going.
you can't hold back. But I called the nurse's station instead as a first step and asked, I said, I know you can't give me the information, but this is the person. And he just called me and she said, oh, I know. I was standing right there. And I know you're not his wife. I said, well, I had dated in the past and I feel really bad for him because he said he doesn't have any family. I feel it's just uneasy about it, but I wanted to check in. And she said, you're right, I can't give you any information, but I think you should just go with your gut.
Yeah.
And I said, thanks, sister. But no, so there's been...
And we're laughing. I feel the need to put out the disclaimer. Mental health is no joke. It
No.
was not funny. Like,
No.
the situation
really
and everything
cared.
leading up to it
Yeah.
was hilarity, and just what an ending. But man, we
It's
know
just
how to
like-
pick them.
I know, right? Yeah, so I don't... What was your question to me, though? If I have dating
That was
tips?
the dating apps. But I think about, our first... we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time.
Yeah.
In some sort of a format. And I think my long-standing public relationship in those 10 years was... what were we, 12 weeks? Like 10, 12 weeks is about as far as we'd ever gotten.
Yes.
But that one breakup that I said, this is the one. We should start the video blog right now.
Yes.
I'm bringing the camera with me.
Oh, when you and I... those...
Yeah.
That time?
Yeah.
Where...
It's epic.
Yes, where we met at the bottom of Arborcrest after an event.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
That's the best story ever. I was in the car with my date, really frustrated,
Yes.
and having every righteous reason to be so frustrated. And you had to stop at the bottom to pick up materials, signage.
Yeah, leaving the event.
Yeah, leaving. I'm texting you, and you're texting me. You're like at the bottom. So I asked my date to pull over, and I'm getting out of the car. Well, your date, who wasn't a date anymore, he thought you were pulling
That's
over
right.
to talk to him. So the four of us end up. So one big happy family again, but then we have to break their hearts and tell them, no, we're going together.
You hop out of your date's car to get in mine. Mine comes to the window. Are we okay? You stop to talk? Nope, just to grab her. Let's go.
Yeah, we're out of here. So we really, I think the best advice ever is to have an amazing girlfriend or a host of them
yes.
that you can have these conversations with. I love the idea, what you said, just totally being open. People always talk about write your list about what you want in a relationship. No, write a list about what you want to improve about yourself, how you want to get healthy. Take that time. After my second divorce, I took 2 years. Well, one full year, dabbled in one day and hopped right out of that pond and went another full year before I started dating again. And that really, I always want to take time to just enjoy girlfriends and to have no thoughts whatsoever about boys.
Yeah. I think this last time I tried to jump back in too quick,
Yeah.
which gave, that was just dumb.
Yeah, that guy
That's
didn't
my
have a
big
chance.
words.
Don't-
Yeah. So taking some time and not rushing back into that. I'm not even interested at the moment. It's just kind of.
Yeah. But you're open, correct?
Yeah.
Well, look at you. You're wearing a hot pink dress like that, standing on the corner. I saw you leaning up against the pole when I went to pick you up.
It's all for sure.
It's all about the
It's all
vibe
for
you put out there, who you're going to attract, remember? So do you have a nemesis?
A nemesis, like Newman. Sorry, I was a big Seinfeld fan. I don't think so.
You work pretty well to...
Or I'm just clueless.
Are there
I
any
think
people that you bump into that you wish you don't bump into? And then how do you navigate those spaces?
I'm sure there are. With Grace. You
Yeah.
know, I've learned a lot from you in that aspect, though. And recently you had one of these exchanges where there was a conversation that was quickly going south with somebody that you used to be tied in with, business,
Oh, that's
personal.
true.
And, behind the
Yes.
scenes, you and I are upset and angry, and
Yeah.
I've got all the
Yeah.
comebacks in the world to throw out at them.
Yes.
But take a deep breath, say a little prayer, and what came out of you in that situation, I'm like, there's you.
Yeah.
It's always kind. It's always bigger picture.
Right.
It's Yeah. Are there people I wouldn't want? Yeah, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that I don't really enjoy it. But in the end, I don't know.
Well, I hate that feeling, that feeling of turmoil when you're worried about someone else. And that's why I like to clean up stuff fairly swiftly.
After Maddie's podcast, when she and I were here, there were a few people that reached out. And that was a little awkward. That sent me a little sideways. Yeah. You know, those unfinished things in relationships where, you know, these women came back and wanted to say hi, and I was nervous. I didn't know how to manage that. But
well, and we talked about a situation where you saw someone that you hadn't seen for a while and kind of had not the most favorable disconnect with that person, and instantly upon seeing the person, they were humanized, and you just smiled and said hello, and you went back in, and you're like, whoa. Yeah. That went really well.
Didn't even think about it.
And that's one thing Kent and I talked about when we had a podcast where we talked about how to handle one another in those conversations where we don't necessarily get along or agree or see eye to eye. It really is humanizing the other person and understanding that it's easier to demonize someone when you're not near them or around them.
Absolutely.
So sometimes
we can
funny
you say that, because I didn't even think of that interaction. I really do just have short-term memory for
it is blissful
a
at
lot
times.
of that anger and everything else. Okay.
Well, one thing I love so much about you is if I have a situation where I'm grappling with, I can tell you can flip out and tell me all the ways all the things you're thinking, which is so good. It's such a relief for me. I'm like, oh, wow, she's right. Yep, we're not going to do any of that. Although I still do love the whole notion, and we're going to give this a secret away right now.
Oh, you're going to tell it?
No, we've never done it.
I know, we never will either.
Oh, I know. We're too, straight-laced. Let's fix that.
Do it.
Let's do something naughty lately. Soon. My daughter Isabella had this friend in high school just a couple of years ago. She showed me the tweets. Oh, they were hilarious. So the girl found out the boyfriend was cheating on her, and his mom raised chickens. And she'd been over the house plenty of times, had taken pictures of the chickens, knew his cell phone number, knew their address. So she posted on Craigslist that they were giving away free chickens. Used all of their information. And then she had blocked him on Facebook, blocked him on her phone, everything, but not Twitter. So he tweets out to her, I know you put the chickens on Facebook or on Craigslist. You need to take it down. And she said, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have a Craigslist. It was this whole back and forth thing, but it was just so funny. So we joke all the time when someone is unfavorable or whatever we'd want to call it. We're like, they need to sell chickens.
That's it. Chickens.
Free chickens for them.
That's all I have to say to you.
Chickens. Free chickens.
Who needs them?
Exactly. Okay, now I had a second one. Well, yeah, how do you regulate anger and emotions? And sometimes I think that it's harder to regulate that for your friend, in honor of your friend, than it is for yourself. Because I think I'll just be like, unjust, if something happens in your life I don't like.
I've never been good at managing that. In fact, I'm laughing because I just thought of something. My first ever college roommate just found me on Facebook, which has been really fun. But that poor woman. I'm sorry, Darian. I remember getting mad for the first time. I was 17 when I started college because you could start school at
you're brilliant.
4 or whatever. Yeah, I wish. And I got really mad my first couple months of freshman year, and I threw a shoe at my closet, and she just froze. And it was one of those note to self: people don't throw shoes. So I've always been explosive like that. That's my personality for everything: happy, sad, explosive. So trying to get a grip on that hasn't been easy. And I guess I try and keep it behind the scenes. And I'm telling, texting is probably one of the best things forever that's ever been created in our lifetime, because I can just shoot one to you, especially on a Mac, because you can be in a meeting and texting. But to just get it out of my head and be real with you first, say all the things that I will never say out loud is really helpful. I don't know. I'm learning to take some deep breaths, though. And, you know, the other piece is to be honest also. I was in a meeting the other day, and I found myself getting frustrated and defensive with a client. And I stopped and I just told him, you know what? I think I'm getting defensive right now. And let me tell you where I think this is coming from.
Okay.
And they went, oh, and I go, you know what else I'm bringing to the table today? Before I got here, this happened, and it's reminding me of this other situation.
Yeah.
And I'm bringing all that to the table. So I'm sorry, wipe the slate clean. Let's start again.
Yeah.
It was so helpful to just be honest.
Right. So I had this conversation with someone I work very closely with, and he was trying to figure out how to tell someone that they were no longer going to have a job. And I said, well, you just say what the situation is, and this is why it's not working out. And he said, oh, you make it sound so easy. He said, that's the difference between you and me. You're always telling the truth, and I'm always thinking of stories to soften it. I'm like, no, but then you get yourself embroiled in this crazy situation that gets out of control, and no one knows what's up or down. And
truth is so much easier to remember.
Yeah. And maybe that's an age thing, too. Although I've been fairly honest through my life. Maybe not honest to myself sometimes. That was a trick for a while.
I was not, though. That was a tough one for me, and I don't know where and when I made the shift, but I was so afraid of my dad. I lied all the time about everything. I remember one time coming into the house and my hand was black. This is so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm ruining your whole podcast.
No.
I had stuck some sort of little minifigure in my neighbor's tailpipe. Not to block it or anything. I don't know. It was just a fun place to put the little toy. And I had put it in there. So in putting my hand in the tailpipe, I had black on my hand. And I came in the house. My dad, what is that on your hand? And nothing. What were you doing? I was in the dirt. And I probably could have started the whole honesty journey somewhere around then. But I was so afraid of getting in trouble that I would lie all the time. Like I said, about everything, about my hand in a tailpipe, because I thought he'd be mad.
Yeah.
And I carried that with me for a long time. So if I was ever scared, afraid, embarrassed, lie.
Yeah.
That was the first thing.
Did that affect the way that you parent, knowing how the way he parented you and questioned you, or how he approached you, brought that out?
Yes, and it helps that I was a child development major, so don't ask questions you don't want to know the answers to, and don't give kids the chance to lie is something I learned in my education.
That's
so
smart.
Don't say, did you do this?
Right.
Hey, when this happened, why? Or whatever. Don't give kids, if you don't want kids to lie, don't give them the opportunity to lie.
Oh, I like that.
So that helped me a lot. That education did, and having conversations with them, and you could tell when your kids are lying.
I know, they're so cute.
So
that reminds me of a story when Christopher had fallen. I think he was 6 or 7 and gashed his head. And so we were in the ER, and the ER doctor came in to say we're going to have to suture it, and he had his arm behind his back. This is a pediatric ER doctor, and Christopher's immediately freaking out. I mean, that's a ploy that all 5 and 6-year-olds know. You're hiding something, and there's a reason behind it. And Christopher was really uncomfortable, and I finally told the doctor, I'm like, look, you're going to have to show him. He knows you're hiding it behind his your back. I had to call the doctor out on it. So then he brings out this monstrous needle. It was to numb his head, so it looked really gory. And then that's when Christopher started crying for his ENT. I want Dr. Olds. His ENT. I'm like, he doesn't perform this. Then he had to be strapped down. So it didn't go well after that. But, it's true.
It is. Well, in tying some of those in the parenting piece, I like to be right. If I'm wrong, I don't mind being wrong, but I do strive to be right. But I know that, again, with my dad, it was, don't do this because this will happen. You can't. I swear it's why I'm a good event planner. I can foresee every possible problem with everything. Yeah. But one of his things, don't ever get on a skateboard. You'll break your arm. And you're talking about Christopher, my sister, first time on a skateboard, fell off and broke her arm. Like the kind that you can see through the skin. Comes into the house with her arm behind her back. My dad could tell something was wrong. What's wrong? Nothing.
Oh, nothing?
I fell. Well, go run it under cold water. He thought it was a quick fix. And he comes in the house, and here she is crying, running her arm under cold water. But she didn't want to be in trouble. Yeah. Lied to cover it up.
Right.
But he was right.
Yeah, well, good job, Daddy. We'll mark that one down.
We could talk about his first time on a skateboard, too. Because eventually she did buy one.
Oh, good.
And he jumped on. Sorry, Dad, totally selling you out.
Oh, and he jumped on it?
Jumped on it in the garage being funny with my mom. He fell off and totally hurt his tailbone and limped for weeks.
Oh my gosh. Those are
Skateboard to
scary
death.
things. No, Christopher had a longboard. I know we have to wrap up, but he had a longboard, and I was like, gosh, that doesn't look as hard as you're kind of making it sound like it is. And Christopher's like, get on, Mom. I hopped on that thing 1 second. I was almost dead. No, fortunately, it was a sidewalk with 2 grassy areas on either side, but my life almost ended then.
Yeah.
So that's a scary thing. Well, our time is up
That
already.
went too fast.
I know. We have a whole tablet here we could have filled up with questions. And I'm sure it's very valuable to our viewers. But thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
And I look forward to having you on again sometime soon, I'm
Yes,
sure.
please.
Thank you for tuning into She Says, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
She Says is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content.